Before the sold-out arenas, before the platinum records, before the global influence, there was a moment in time where everything was still being built from scratch. In the city of New Orleans, where culture, struggle, music, and ambition all collide into one powerful rhythm, a young artist was sharpening his voice, his hunger, and his identity. That young artist would grow into Lil Wayne. At the same time, a visionary entrepreneur with relentless drive was laying the foundation for something bigger than music, a movement. That man was Birdman. He wasn't just thinking about hits. He was thinking about legacy, ownership, and building something that could outlive trends. When Birdman saw Lil Wayne, he didn't just see talent. He saw potential waiting to be unlocked. And what followed wasn't just a signing. It was the beginning of a relationship that blurred the lines between mentorship, business, and family. Studio sessions became classrooms. Conversations became guidance. The music industry can be unpredictable. But in those early days, there was clarity in their connection. Lil Wayne wasn't just learning how to rap. He was learning how to survive, how to think, and how to navigate a space where very few people make it out successfully. For many people watching today, this part of the story feels familiar. That moment when someone believes in you before the world does. That moment when guidance changes direction. That moment when opportunity meets preparation. As the foundation of cash money began to rise, so did the identity of Lil Wayne, sharper, more confident, more focused. And standing beside him, consistently, was Birdman, not just as a label head, but as a figure of influence in his life. This wasn't overnight success. This was built through time, trust, and shared vision. And as the spotlight slowly turned toward them, the world began to witness something powerful, not just a business partnership, but a bond that carried the energy of something deeper. Success changes everything. It changes how people see you. It changes how you move. And sometimes, it changes the relationships that helped you get there. For Lil Wayne and Birdman, the rise to the top came with pressure that very few people can truly understand. Global recognition, industry expectations, creative direction, business responsibilities. All of it began to stack up. From the outside, everything looked solid: success, influence, dominance in the culture. But behind the scenes, things were evolving. Conversations became more complex. Decisions carried more weight. And the dynamic between Lil Wayne and Birdman started to shift. This is where the story becomes deeply human and relatable on a level beyond music. Because sometimes, growth doesn't happen at the same pace for everyone. Sometimes, two people who started on the same path begin to see things differently. For Lil Wayne, there was a desire to move forward creatively, to evolve, to express himself freely. For Birdman, there was a responsibility to manage an empire, to maintain structure, and to protect what had been built over years. Neither perspective is wrong, but when they don't align, tension can grow. Fans began to notice. The energy felt different. The unity that once defined their journey now carried layers of complexity. Questions started to circulate, not out of negativity, but out of curiosity and concern. And this is something many people can relate to. Whether it's family, mentorship, or close partnerships, relationships go through phases. There are moments of alignment and moments of distance. Moments where communication becomes harder. Moments where understanding takes time. But even in distance, history remains. The foundation doesn't disappear. Every achievement, every milestone, every memory, it all still exists. For Lil Wayne and Birdman, this chapter wasn't about losing everything they built. It was about navigating change in real time, under the spotlight. Time brings clarity. Not always immediately, but eventually. And when it does, it allows people to see beyond moments and focus on meaning. For Lil Wayne and Birdman, their journey didn't end in tension, it transformed. Because when something is built on years of shared experience, it doesn't just disappear. It evolves. Moments of reconnection began to surface. Not always loud, not always dramatic, but meaningful. Whether through public appearances, shared spaces, or simple acknowledgement, there was a clear message: the bond still existed. This is where the story becomes powerful in a different way. Not because everything returned to how it once was, but because growth allowed it to become something new. For many people watching, this is the most relatable chapter. Because life isn't about perfect relationships, it's about real ones. Ones that go through change. Ones that face challenges. Ones that require time, understanding, and perspective. Birdman played a major role in shaping the early path of Lil Wayne. And Lil Wayne transformed that opportunity into a global legacy that influenced an entire generation. That connection can't be erased. It's part of history. It's part of culture. The phrase "I'm his son" carries meaning beyond words. It represents loyalty, influence, growth, and shared experience. And even when tested, that meaning doesn't just fade. In the end, this isn't just a hip-hop story. It's a human story. About mentorship. About evolution. About understanding that relationships can change form without losing their value. Because real bonds aren't defined by perfection, they're defined by impact. And the impact of Birdman and Lil Wayne will always remain one of the most influential connections the culture has ever seen.